All right, so good afternoon, everybody. All right, so if you don't know, my name is Dr. Titwell. You got me for Poli Sci 1101 through Chat Tech, yes or no? Yes. All right. So our class officially starts on Monday. Can I get somebody to get that door? What I want to do is show you what you're going to be doing. So I got me on that? This will take less than 2 minutes of your time. All right, first, this is what Blackboard looks like. If you understand that, say yes. All right, so I showed y'all the syllabus earlier, but if you click right here on Monday, this is not gonna go live until Mondays. If I got me on that, and that's for if you got me for poli sci, and if you have Miss Gibson for econ, same thing. All right, you click on it. That's where you get your syllabus right there. You also want to make sure you hit the start here. That way you can find out some information about me. Now, weekly lessons is where you're gonna go for all your lessons. If I got me on that, the class is built out all the way out. Don't touch nothing outside of chapter one and when you start the class. If you understand that, say yes. Okay. Now, this is what you're gonna have to do. Just giving you a heads up. Week one, we just get into what is American government and what is civic engagement. Is it right clear there? Now, this right here is your textbook. When you look right here where it says chapter one, reading materials, that's your textbook. Chapter one, videos. We'll be doing those things mostly in class. Weekly nearpods. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. And then you're gonna have a reading, and you're gonna have a week one podcast due. Is that got me on that? Y'all follow me so far? I'll tell you more about that when we come back to class, but because we're going to be missing class on Monday because of the digital day, I'll give you a heads up. All you're going to be doing is these two Nearpods. Everybody got me on that? Now, I'm going to give you all the links to the Nearpods momentarily, but this is what you'll be doing primarily. You'll be doing the Nearpod dealing with what is government, and also the one that's dealing with engagement and democracy, which is two sub-chapters of chapter one, which is our first chapter. You understand that? Say yes. Okay. All you're gonna do is just literally read through those Nearpods. They're self-created, self-made. The basically just rip the most important parts from the textbook. Did I got me on that? If you have me before, you're gonna see it's a very different Nearpod than what I normally use, but it still gives you information better than I need you to read the whole chapter. Now, what you are gonna be required to do is take notes and upload both of those notes here to CTL, not CTL, to Blackboard. Does that make sense? You want to do digital notes? I don't care. You want to do them on paper and take pictures? I don't care. But as long as you have your notes there by Monday night, you're good. This is going to be considered your no-show assignment. That makes sense to everybody. We clear? Yes? As long as you do the no-show assignment, you're good to go. You ain't got nothing to worry about being dropped out the class, which causes a whole bigger issue. But you want to make sure you do that. Now, here's your first Nearpod code. Go ahead and take a picture of it, write it down, because you will not have access to Blackboard until Monday. Is everybody got me on that? This is going to be the first code right here. This should be self-paced. But again, you're going to upload your notes to where I just showed you in Blackboard, and I'll show it to you again. This should be self-paced, and what you're going to do is literally hit the arrows and just, as you go through it, watch the videos, do participation in them. There's going to be some questions for you, and of course, take notes. Has everybody got me on that? Now, it's going to be a picture. I should show it to you now. So this is going to be chapter 1.1, basically what is government. Here I tell you how you could take notes. Has everybody got me on that? Now, you notice I have a 60-minute timer. You should not be doing this more than an hour, really more than 30 minutes. Does everybody follow? But because of the videos and stopping and going, you might do more than 30 minutes. Is that clear? You have a choice, and you're being graded on this, so you got to do one of these four styles. Either Z notes, where you have your notes on the far left, and you draw pictures on the right. Does that make sense to everybody? You can do Cornell notes, where you have a topic or question on the far left, and then you have the actual explanation, or pictures. I'm a picture person. I can do stick figures, but when I'm doing digital notes, I get stuff from the internet and just post it in there. Does that make sense to everybody? I really think digital notes is the best way to go, particularly when you already got to upload everything to Blackboard. But if you're doing digital notes, make sure you share your stuff where I can see it. Does that make sense to everybody? If it's private and I grade it, you get a 0. And because I just grade really quick, and then you got to go back and look at the comments in Blackboard to make sure that I saw your work. Does that make sense to everyone? We good so far? The other option you got is going to be just outline notes. When you should do that in Microsoft Word. This is where you have the bullet points, hit the tab key, and then from most important to least important. Then the last option is the artistic one, which is mind map. There's templates for all of these in Canva, by the way, for most part. Is everybody got me on that? Except Z Notes, because that's a very new note-taking style. I really like Z Notes when you're doing something really quick and simple and you need a visual. Y'all with me so far? But you can also do the mind map notes where you have the topic in the middle, and then you have basically sub topics going out almost like a tree. So I got me on that. You got the tree, you got the trunk, right? You got branches and leaves. That's what basically mind mapping is. You pick one of these styles, and that's how you take your notes for everything we do in our class, unless I tell you otherwise. Everybody clear? We good there? So that's one Nearpod, and the other one is this one here. You have to complete both of these by Monday night. I'm giving them to you now. Do not wait till Sunday. I'm telling you that right now. It's a lot of reading. Excuse me. So this is the other one you want to complete. That's going to be chapters 1.1 and then also chapters 1.3. So these are the two you want to complete. Does that make sense to everybody? Clearly label which one's a which. That way I know. If you want to put them all in the same note sheet, that is totally fine. I just need to distinguish between 1.1 and 1.3. Everybody clear? Got it? Yeah. Monday night. All these are due Monday night. Now, when Blackboard comes up live, this is the only place you do anything at right now. Does everybody follow? Now, like I said, the class is already built out. The dates are kind of wrong, or mostly all wrong right now. But like these are the topics we'll be covering in the class. Constitution, its origins, federalism, civil liberties, and civil rights. You notice those are combined, right? That's gonna be a heavy week. Does that make sense? For me, it made more sense to combine those and then try to separate them, especially when we have limited time. Everybody follow? Because remember, our class is going to be due in December before everybody done it at a Wheeler, so I have a lot less time. Okay. Then we get into public opinion and politics, voting, elections, the media, political parties. Now, somewhere up in here is where we're gonna have the election, so it's gonna be kind of interesting what we go to as well. Did I follow me on that? The presidential debates, you will have an assignment to watch the presidential debates, and I'm gonna give you a score chart where you be doing that. Did I follow? It just makes perfectly good sense to do those, right? The election night, you also gonna have an assignment to do that. It just makes sense to do it, right? So just keep a heads up that you may get those thrown to you whenever they do occur, and you may only have 24-hour notice because things change. So just let you know. Then of course we're gonna go more in detail with interest groups and lobbying, Congress, the presidency, domestic and foreign affairs, and things of that nature as well. Any questions so far? But again, you don't go nothing down. All this, the dates, if you look into the calendar, you're gonna see things from last semester. Because I've not updated it because I don't want you to do it yet. Does that make sense? So you want to make sure you do things as we go, and not to mention I'm consistently change things as we go too. For example, last year we didn't have a near pods. Y'all do. So you gotta make sure you keep that in mind. Is that clear? You'll have at least 1 or 2 near pods per unit, give or take. Make sense? Heads up, when we come, you also gonna have your first debate probably coming up too. Everybody clear there? That's why I'm even saying I got your hand. I have scheduled the podcast, but I might come in here on Monday and change my mind. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Do not go ahead right now on Monday. All you need to do is this right here. That makes sense to everybody. Yes? Okay. Now, because Blackboard is not fully operational for you yet, I am going to still try to send you a reminder, but I can't guarantee you won't get it to Monday. So hopefully y'all remember that you got to get this done by Monday. Everybody clear? Okay. Now I saw some hands. Go ahead. Yeah.
For the notes, except week one, is everything notes is every week's notes gonna be digital or like on paper?
It's your choice how you take your notes. So the question was, is every week's notes digital? If you want to take paper notes, you can do paper notes. If you want to do digital notes, you take digital notes. It's always up to you. But regardless, most of the cases, you're gonna have to upload them to Blackboard. That way the college still sees what I'm doing and what you guys are doing. Make sense? We good there? Any other questions? Yeah.
You were mentioning about the podcast stuff, but I wasn't really paying attention as I was trying to log into Blackboard.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna talk more about the podcast when we come back. But just know, remember, you either have a podcast or a Socratic debate every week. Does that make sense to everybody? They'll go back and forth. Very rarely will you have one and the same because you think about it, you are kind of debating or at least discussing topics in podcasts. But I would definitely say start thinking about a podcast format you want to use. Start thinking about how you want to do it, maybe who you want to do it with, who you might want to be interviewing. Y'all got me on that? I've seen interviews where a person just interviewed themselves and it's a different character. That's fine. But the key thing I want to make sure you guys know, you are never reporting in this class. You always just making a claim and supporting the claims. That makes sense to everybody. We're not talking about personal opinion. We get the facts. We then make an argument based on those facts and then go from there. That makes sense? We clear? Okay. Any other questions? Okay. And again, you cannot access Blackboard yet. So I'm being honest, but don't try.